Well, since the GOP debate, a lot has been made about New York City values. Now, some say it's represented by the selfless actions of our first responders, and indeed that exemplifies a part of New York City. But from a political and economic point of view, there's a huge disconnect. On that note, the elite progressives of Manhattan have been scorned by middle America for decades. It's not new. My problem isn't about social issues, but the economic agenda of this very powerful cabal. Their solutions, from welfare utopias, watered-down educations, rigged taxes, higher regulation, all of these regimes have helped keep the wealthy and powerful there, but the middle class and poor are forever wanting. As for 9/11, Engine 54, Ladder 4, Battalion 9, lost more men than any other firehouse on that day. That firehouse is located right down this street, 48th Street, and across from it is this wonderful park. It's dedicated in their honor. Now, every year I try to make it down there and pay my respects, and every time, including this past September 11th, it's mostly empty. The only people sitting there are firefighters and their families. So, I can only hope that this year, those New Yorkers who were offended by Ted Cruz's comments, take a few minutes out of your busy day to visit the park or any firehouse, shake a hand, praise these guys, because that's a lot more authentic than your fake outrage. All right, guys, back to talk about this. We've got Jillian, Melchior, Todd Starnes, and the superstar host of Strange Inheritance, Jamie Colby. All right, Todd, what do you make of it? I mean, you live in New York, but you're from, you're Southern there. What do you make of the whole thing?
Well, I've lived among the indigenous liberal people of Brooklyn for about 10 years now, and I can tell you we're talking about Duck Dynasty values versus New York values. And I thought it was really disingenuous of Donald Trump to try to bring this and make this a 9/11 issue, when in fact that's not what Ted Cruz was talking about. And obviously that's not what he was talking about. He wasn't trying to disparage anyone. But I do believe that there's a value system here in New York and Los Angeles and Chicago that's shared by many in the mainstream media and what's coming out of Hollywood, and they think that we are the anomalies, folks like you and me, Charles, when in fact they're the anomalies.
Well, Jillian, there's no doubt that the elitists are on the coast, and the people in the middle have felt like their voices haven't been heard.
Yep.
Listen, we know a lot of hard-working people, the same people that rescued 9/11, who helped build the World Trade Center, that rescued people there. I don't know that Cruz is talking about them, but also having said that, I'm not as concerned. I don't care about these social issues, and I don't know that the GOP needs to talk about that. I am concerned, though, with the economic policies that have made poor people poorer.
Absolutely. And you've got de Blasio administration, one of the most far left right now, speaking for New York. I don't think that that really represents New York's economic ethic, though. I mean, I'm from Wyoming. Part of the reason that I love New York so much is that this is a really expensive place. People are here because they want to be here. They've got a fire. They've got ambition. It creates passion. It creates creativity. And I think there's nothing more American than that.
Jamie Colby, you're a world traveler. You travel a lot for the show. And some may say you're a quintessential New Yorker, successful and open-minded. What do you think of the whole thing?
You know what, I'm also a 9/11 survivor. I was in the World Trade Center on 9/11, and I'll never forget that when I finally was able to travel again, people in Los Angeles said, oh yeah, we saw it on TV. It didn't really affect us, so we just turned the TV off. You know, not everybody gets it. I'm glad you're bringing it back to the issues and us looking after those who need us most. I've been to that firehouse, and I'm glad that's something that you do. Everybody on this campaign trail has said something that has offended somebody, and every other candidate has pointed fingers. I wish we could get away from that and get back to the issues, as you have so wisely pointed out, because that's the only way that any of us will benefit, Charles.
I agree 1,000%. I want to know ultimately what the winner is going to do to make us all great again. Jamie, of course, before we go, we've got some new episodes of Strange Inheritance. They come on tonight. Can you please tell us about them?
Wow, speaking of great, all these candidates want a piece of the White House. I actually held a piece of the White House in my hands back from 1902, after the War of 1812, when the White House was destroyed. People may not know that history lesson. They're going to learn it tonight. They're going to see this historic piece from the White House that has 17 coats of paint on it that actually shows every administration. We brought it to a paint analyst. We have some sound to tell you a little bit about the White House. This is Bill Siel, who is a White House historian.
He was skeptical that it could be the actual White House. So I said, can I just send you pictures?
What was your initial reaction?
Well, I thought it looked suspicious. And so I didn't tell much until I researched it.
Did you say, just leave it in the attic another 50 years, it'll be fine?
No, I was too curious for that.
100 years it was in the attic, 100 years. It took Strange Inheritance to tell this story. Wait till you see it tonight. We also have, Charles, an orphan car collection. Not orphans because they were abandoned on the side of the road. Car companies that are extinct, basically. Kissels and Pierce Arrows. You may never get a chance to see these cars again, but you will tonight at 9 and 9:30 on Strange Inheritance. Brand spanking new.
Jamie, love the show. Can't wait. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.